It gives me great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Ashalatha Tampuran, Executive Director of Mohandas College of Engineering and Technology, Anand, Nedumangal.
I am Dr. Ashalatha, Executive Director of Mohandas College of Engineering and Technology. I was the Principal of College of Engineering Trivandrum, and before that I was the Head of the Department of Architecture in College of Engineering Trivandrum. I have taken my PhD in Traditional Residential Architecture and now doing postdoctoral work in Temple Architecture. And this topic is pertaining to the research work I am presently conducting. Temple concepts and its manifestation in physical form. All over India, temples were constructed from very ancient times. Temple, the abode of God, is a physical structure constructed as per the tenets given in Vastu Shastra. Vastu Shastra can be viewed as an encompassing science of built spaces and its environs. The construction follows the philosophy, concepts, and principles. There may be some relaxation in the planning and construction of other buildings, but the tenets are strictly followed in the case of temple construction. Temple consists of three parts: 1. Inner space, Antarhara; 2. Middle space, Madhyahara; and 3. Outer space, Bahirhara. Inner space. Space consists of the sanctum and the surrounding space where rituals connecting with the deity is conducted. This is a space where entry is restricted for select people at specified times. Middle space. This is a semi-social space where entry is partially restricted for the public. Outer space. This is the space where no restriction is imposed. Though the entire planning and construction follows the tenets given in Vastu Shastra, regional changes are seen in the planning of the middle space and the outer space to suit the social requirements of the local community. Variations due to climate, materials available, economic and political influences are visible in the architectural style also. But the planning of the inner space is almost identical throughout India. In this presentation, the author tries to bring out the concept and its physical manifestation in the temple planning with special reference to the temples of Kerala. Philosophy. According to Indian philosophy, the universe Brahmandam is an all-encompassing system of immeasurable attributes whose minutest element Pindandam also exhibits all its characteristics and manifests itself as the representative of the whole. This basic philosophy is transferred to the field of architecture, wherein the space is considered as the universe and the built space is considered as its manifestation in the micro level. Each space, small or large, thus becomes self-contained with all attributes of the larger space. The built form is related to the space, and the elements of the built form are related to one another and to the whole. Concepts. There are various concepts associated with the temple construction. Concept of the universe. Universe is conceived as a spherical form with 10 gods protecting its boundary. The 8 gods Ashtadikpalakas, occupy the horizontal central space of the sphere. Brahma occupies the top or the zenith position, and Ananda at the bottom, Nadar. It has one axis and very unstable. For construction purposes, you require a stable form. The form has to be close to the sphere with all its manifestations. Accordingly, the central horizontal space of the universe has been changed to a square, as a square is the closest form to the circle. Accordingly, the sphere has become a tetrahedron by joining the zenith and nadar with the corners of the space. Now the form has become stable with all the three axes. For all construction purpose, this full is adopted. Concept of Vastu. The term Vastu is interpreted in many ways. As given in Rig Veda, Vastu means a place where all living organisms reside in harmony with each other. Vasanti Pranina Yatra. Mayamada describes Vastu as a site where mortals and immortals reside and categorizes Vastu into ground, edifices, conveyances and seats. There are other interpretations also. For example, the root Vastu denotes matter in its original form. When it is defined, measured and given a particular shape, it is known as Vastu. The root Vasa, to live, is elaborated to Vastu, a place to live in. Concept of Vastu Purusha. In every department of culture, the ancient Indians struck a note of spirituality that permeates the rhythmical order of creation. It is believed that there is a force that moves mysteriously in the universe. According to Vastu Shastra, Vastu Purusha is said to be the spirit encompassing the universal space as well as the designated space. Like Akasha, ether, taking shape of the container and at the same time remaining at earth, Vastu Purusha spreads himself into the plots small or large. He is graphically portrayed in the square with his head on the northeast Ishana corner and his feet in the southwest Niriti corner with his face down. It is portrayed as a human being, as the human form is the perfect form, as it is the most organic in nature. Concept of Mandala. Mandala is defined as a space of any form or scale. Mandala is a two-dimensional representation of three-dimensional space. Classic text specifies the Vastu Purusha Mandala as a square. However, circular, triangular, hexagonal and octagonal mandalas are referred in the text. Two or more mandalas can be combined together to form a larger mandala, or a larger mandala can be divided into smaller ones. Each thus may be analyzed independently. This aspect is identified to the modern system approach. Concept of Padam, unit and the Padavinyasam. Division of large unit into smaller unit is known as Padavinyasam. Accordingly, Vastu Purusha Mandala is divided into small squares from 1 into 1 to 32 into 32. Smaller ones are used in religious architecture. 8 into 8, 9 into 9 and 10 into 10 are used for secular architecture. In case of temples, the smallest temple is in 9 into 9 Padavinyasam and large temple is 15 into 15 Padavinyasam. Instance of very large temples with the Padavinyasam going up to 43 into 43 Padams are also seen. In case of temple, one Padam is equal to the width of the Garbhagriha in case of a square one and a diameter in case of a circular one. It is also termed as a danda in temple planning. Concept of temple. The ancient Indians struck note of spirituality that permeates the rhythmic order of creation. It is believed that there is a force that moves mysteriously in the universe. In Vastu Shastra, this spirit is known as Vastu Purusha. It is real in an ascending degree in forms that are perfect. Of all the forms in nature, the human form is the most perfect, for it is the most organic in nature. The system of relation is evident there, and all parts are harmonized in one living unity. Every member of the body bears its responsibility to its unity, which rules the entire universe. In architectural terms, this corresponds to the individual elements which acts independently and is in harmony with each other and also to the whole. This is further established by the proportionate system adopted for the construction of structures, including temples, both in planning and construction. The temple, as per Vastu Shastra, is the house of God as well as its representation. According to Shilparastra, Prasada, temple structure, is to be worshipped as Purusha. The several parts of the temple communicate this living presence and are likened to the body of a man in the same way as Vastu Mandala is related to Vastu Purusha. The names of the limbs of the body are hence applied to denote the different parts of the temple structure, especially the Sri Govil, such as Upapidha, feet, Adhisthana, knee, Pada, limbs, Prastara, shoulder, Kanda, neck, Shikhara, face, Stupi, tuft. The Garbhagriha contains the life of the temple. It is considered from inside and visualized from outside. The ruling idea of unity is expressed in the harmonious relationship of spirit and body. Planning of the temple. The temples occupy the central portion of any town planning scheme. In a schematic diagram of a town, as shown in the figure, the town is divided in Paramasayika Padavinyasam, 9 into 9, and the central 9 padams consisting of the Brahmavidi is set apart for the temple complex. There can be seen regional variations in the plan. The fort in Thiruvananthapuram is a good example of a planned city. It is planned in the Asana Padavinyasam, 10 into 10. The entire fort is divided into 100 padams, and the temple of Sri Padmanabha Swami occupies the central 4 padams as given in the figure. Same is the case of Tripunithra. The original plan of Tripunithra is in Asana Padam, with the temple occupying the inner 4 padams. The extent of the temples and the entry points shows regional variations. Normal cases, there will be 4 entry points at the cardinal directions with the Gopuram as seen in Padmanabha Swami temple. But in case of Purnatrayisha temple, there are only 3 Gopurams. The 4th entry is towards the Uttupura on the northern side. In Kerala, temples are planned as per the technical text Tantra Samuchaya, written by Sri Chenasa Narayanan Namboodirippada in 15th century. This text can be taken as a handbook for construction, where all technical data given in various scriptures are consolidated with specific requirement of the ancient Kerala. As per Tantra Samuchaya, structural temple is divided into 3 spaces: Antarhara, inner space; Madhyahara, middle space; and Bahirhara, outer space. Antarhara consists of Antarmandalam and Nalambalam and is confined to 3 into 3 Padavinyasam, 9 padams. The Madhyahara space within the Velakkumadam is confined to 5 into 5 Padavinyasam, 25 padams, and the Bahirhara consists of Pradakshinavari and is confined with 9 into 9. The outer wall, Maryada, is confined within 15 into 15 Padavinyasam as given in the figures. As described earlier, the plan of a fully developed temple consists of 5 boundaries, Panchapragarams. The innermost pragaram is the Antarmandalam, which consists of sanctum and Belivattam, space confined within the 10 bellicles representing the Ashtadikpalakas and Brahma and Ananda. The Ashtadikpalakas occupy the respective places in the cardinal points. Of the additional 2 bellicles, one representing Brahma is provided on the eastern periphery away from Ishana, that is northeast, towards Indra east. The second one representing the Ananda is provided on the western periphery away from Nirriti southwest towards Varuna west. The 10 bellicles occupying the periphery of Mandala confirms the concept of the universe and its physical manifestation in the temple design. The second pragaram is defined by Chuttambalam and Nalambalam. The space within the first and second pragaram is the Antarhara, where entry is restricted for devotees and activities associated with the rituals only will be conducted. Third pragaram is defined by the Vilakkumadam, is the Madhyahara. The periphery of the third pragaram is also provided with 10 bellicles, which reasserts the concept of the universe. Every temple, including the smallest one, will have all the 3 pragarams. The fourth pragaram is defined by the Pradakshinavidhi, and the outermost or the fifth pragaram is the Maryada or the outer wall with gopurams, which normally seen in larger temples. Space within the fourth and fifth pragarams is the Bahirhara, where all social activities take place and where there are no restrictions for the devotees. Main entry with the gopuram is placed at a strategic point with respect to the existing road. When you stand at the entrance of the gopuram, you will get the full view of the various parts of the temple. The temples normally face east or west. There are some exceptions to this rule, especially when temples are dedicated to Durga in the Raudrabhava, termed as Bhadragali. Here the temple faces north direction. For example, Attikal Devi Temple in Trivandrum and Kodungalur Devi Temple in Kodungalur and Mukkutil Temple in Tripunithura are some examples. All principles associated with the planning, Ayadi Sharvagam, are to be strictly followed in arriving at the perimeter of the Garbhagriha. Of this, the most important aspect is the yoni, which denotes the positioning of the structure with respect to its facing. The perimeter of the temple Sriyogil facing east will be in Vrishabha Yoni, structure placed west facing east, and the temple facing west will be in the Dhwaja Yoni, structure placed in the east facing west. The yoni of various other structures inside will also follow this yoni concept. Namaskara Mandalam will have the opposite yoni of the Srigovil. If the Srigovil is in Vishabhavodi, then the Namaskara Mandapam will be in Dhwaja Yoni. The arrangements of the various parts of the temple are in an axial form, starting from the gopuram on the entry side to Nadapara, Anakottil, Dhwajastambam, Velikkalpura, by Valiyambalam, Namaskara Mandapam, Sopanam, Srigovil and Gopuram on the exit side. Though axial in planning, the central line of each structure is shifted to avoid Sutra Vedam, where no two central lines coincide, an important aspect of temple planning. The shift is known as Gamanam, is physically visible when you look at the temple from one side. The shift is always towards the right in a clockwise direction. All elements including the structural, non-structural come under this rule. The deity is visible from the point beyond Dhwajastambam or even from the Gopuram because of this principle. The accompanying photo shows the Purnatrayesha temple from the western Gopuram and the view of the Ullur temple from the Gopuram. Now planning of the Sri Govil. As per the scripture, Tantra Samuchayam, the Sri Govil of an Alpakshetram, that is a small temple, is confined to a plan of 5 into 5 padams. Central padam is the Pidam, where the idol is placed. Surrounding Pradakshina consists of one padam width. The remaining one padam is the Piti around the inner space. Different padavinyasams are adopted in the planning of Sri Govils, as given in the figure. Scale of the temple. The standard measurement used in the Vastu Shastra is known as an angulam and multiplies of it. Angulam, which is the basic dimension, decided on the following scale starting from Paramanu. Paramanu is described as the size of a minute aerosol particle seen in a dark chamber when the sun's rays creep into it. 1 angulam is equal to 2,62,144 times of a Paramanu. 8 angulam makes 1 padam and 3 padam makes 1 kol, which is the standard scale used in Vastu Shastra. In residential buildings, the proportion starts from the angulam, which normally is the measurement of the middle portion of the middle finger of the master. This is known as Matrangulam, proportionate angulam, as given in the figure. This is cumbersome as the measurement of the scale changes from building to building. To avoid this, a standard scale is adopted, which is known as Manangulam, standard angulam. It is defined as the length covered by 8 mm made of bronze. 8 angulams make 1 padam and 3 padams 1 kol, which is a standard measuring scale for all structures. In Kerala, it is standardized into 2 measurements approximately equal to 72 centimeter in northern part of Kerala and 76 centimeters in the southern region. Legend says that this standardization was effected by Perunthachan, who has inscribed the measurement of 1 kol, which is equal to 24 angulams, on the 2 jambs of the door of the eastern Gopuram of Lakshmana temple at Murikulam near Perumbavoor. The measurement on the north jamb is followed in the north of Murikulam, and that on the south jamb is followed in the south. The scale, but the scale used in temple construction is that of proportions. Proportionate scale is used in temple construction. The scale used in the construction of temple is related to the size of the idol and the pidam, where the idol is placed, which in terms decides the size of the Garbhagriha. For planning purposes, the unit measurement used is known as a danda or a module, which is equal to the width of the diameter of the Garbhagriha. Scale used in the temple is usually inscribed on the basement of the Gopuram and used for the construction of buildings in that region. Proportions of the temple. In case of temples, proportionate system is used. All measurements of the temple plan is based on the standard unit danda. This basic unit considers for the planning of temples is equal to the external width of the diameter square or circular structure of Garbhagriha, sanctum sanctorum, where the idol of deity is placed. Measurement of the danda is also proportionate to the measurement of the idol. This is also termed as 1 unit or 1 module. All important elements like the height of the foundation, superstructure, roof, doors, windows, etc. are proportionate to the idol. As per the scripture Tantra Samuchaya, which deals with the temple planning in Kerala, temple is divided into 4 portions and consists of 15 into 15 modules. The Garbhagriha consists of 1 unit or module. First Pragaram, Andar Mandala, is 1.5 module away from sanctum. The second pragaram, Nalambalam, is 1 unit away from the sanctum and consists of 9 units. The third pragaram, Vilakkumadam, is 2 units away from the sanctum, consists of 25 units. The fourth pragaram, Pradashanavadi, is 4 units away from the sanctum, consists of 81 units. And the last pragaram, Maryada, is 7 units away from the sanctum, consisting of 225 units, as given in the figure. Tantra Samuchayam also says that Maryada can be 21 units away from the sanctum, consisting of 1849 units or modules. This proportionate system is visible to a common man when he compares the size of the temple of Sri Krishna in Guruvayur or the temple of Shasta at Shabarimala to that of Padmanabha Swami temple in Thiruvananthapuram or Shiva temple at Etumanur or Vaikam. Development of temple in Kerala. The temples as we see today have come to existence during the Bhakti movement in the 8th century AD. Kerala was famous for its nature worship and ancestral worship from time immemorial. Existence of small structures known as Tekkadal, where ancestors are worshipped, is part of the residential complex of ancient time. Nature worship was also part of residential planning, especially the planning of a Hajj house complexes of Taravada. The Kshetragandam, habitable space, is divided into 4 portions or 4 sectors as given in the figure. Devakhandam, southwest sector, Vayukhandam, northwest sector, Manushakhandam, northeast sector, and Yamakhandam, southeast sector. The main structure of the Naligata and its ancillary units occupy the Manushakhandam, northeast sector, and the Devakhandam, southwest sector, is always left as an undisturbed area of natural vegetation. This space is usually referred to as a cover, meaning a small forest. This area is normally undisturbed with the provision of a Nagatara, abode of snakes, and the abode of celestial creatures like Yakshi, Gandharva, etc. A strategic position of the cover protects the habitable area from the ravages of southwest monsoon. Also provides undisturbed green space covering 25% of the Kshetrakhandam, which is essential for achieving environmental balance with nature. The term cover is referred to the later temples. Almost all of them are dedicated to goddess Durga in many forms. The legends associated with almost all Taravada of feudal lords also talk about a benevolent goddess bringing food to the members of the family during adverse times and disappearing into the Ara or granary of the Taravada situated inside the Naligata. Lighting a lamp in front of the Ara in a Naligata even today signifies this. A small temple dedicated to the goddess known as Paradevada, later becoming the presiding goddess of the entire village, also seen in many villages. The existence of similar concept is also seen in the provision of the Mullattara inside a Nadumittam of the Nambudiri Naligattas, where Mullattara Bhagavati, goddess of Mullattara, is worshipped by the women. All rituals associated with the ladies, conducted by the ladies, take place in front of this goddess. The strong association of residences and temples is a unique feature of ancient worship in Kerala. Later, for various reasons, the temples have been removed from the residential complexes and were constructed independently. But the basic planning principles remains the same. Similarities of the planning of a Naligata with that of an independent structural temple are striking. Both have 3 phases: inner space, middle space, and outer space. The inner space of Naligata consists of courtyard and the surrounding veranda and is in 3 into 3 Padavinyasam, 9 Padams. The middle space consists of the built space of Kedakini, Tekini, Padinatini, and Vadakini and is confined within the Padavinyasam of 5 into 5. Outer space consisting of the open veranda and surrounding open space is confined to 9 into 9 Padavinyasam as given in the figure. The Naligetta in Tripunithra, Puttan Bungalow, where the Srigovil of the Paradevada of the Kochi royal family constructed in the courtyard of the Naligetta is very identical to the Kerala temple. The Dadumittam and the veranda of the Naligetta consists of the Srigovil and the Belivattam. The Kirakini is provided for the temples of the Upadevadas. The Padinatini acts as the Edanadi and Valiyambalam. Vadakini accommodates the temple kitchen and space for conducting rituals, and the Tekini is left open. General plan of a temple, as shown, is also in a Paramasayika Padavinyasam 9 into 9, clearly shows the similarity of temple planning and the residential building. As per the Tantra Samuchaya, a large structural temple is divided into spaces. But the structural temple seen in Kerala bear similarity to the planning of the Naligetta. General plan of the temple in Kerala with Panchapragaram come in the Padavinyasam 9 into 9, identical to that of a planning of Naligetta. This is the uniqueness of Kerala temple. Antahara with the first two Pragarams in 3 into 3 Padavinyasam, third and fourth Padavinyasam with the fifth Pragara Maryada is confined to 9 into 9 Padavinyasam. Third and fourth Pragaram consisting of Velakkumadam and Pradashanavali is confined within 5 into 5 Padavinyasam, and the fifth Pragara Maryada is confined in 9 into 9 Padavinyasam, similar to a Naligetta plan. There are temples in Kerala where the outer wall is not confined within this 9 into 9 Padavinyasam, but extended to a larger Padavinyasam as given in Santratamuchayam. Purnathra one temple where Maryada is extended so as to accommodate 15 elephants during festivals. The important architectural feature of any temple complex are the Vimanam or the Srigovil and the Gopuram. In Dravidian temples, the Vimana as well as the Gopuram are important structures. Example, Brihadeshwara temple and Madura temple. In Kerala, the Vimanam of the sanctum is very simple with sloped sleeping mood and very wide projections of the eave. General architectural character of Kerala temple having low profile for all the structures including the Vimanam sanctum, Gopuram, etc. is given in the photo. In case of a Dvidala temples, the sloping roof is not very prominent as it splits into two levels. The most important architectural element in Kerala temple is the Gopuram. The temple Gopuram is also similar to a Padipura Vadil of any large Tarvada. In smaller temple, the Gopuram is single-storied. In larger temples, there are 2 or more stories. All the Gopurams have the lower story with added height for providing tall openings for the elephants to pass through, Anavadil. This is usually known as Anavadil, elephant's entry gate. This wall with the tall openings defines the Maryada. The exterior space of the Gopuram is always outside the Maryada. The entry to the higher floors is always within the courtyard. The Gopuram acts as a sentry point and protects the temple interiors. 2 types of Gopurams are seen in Kerala. One is framed and the 2 is load bearing. In South Kerala, the Gopurams are of 2 stories. It is frame type with columns and beams. The central portion of the ground floor, which forms part of the Maryada, is done in brick or laterite, and the entry with the Anavadil is provided at the center. The first floor is done in wood and windows openings on all the 4 sides. Gables with intricate details are also provided on both ends. Ullur Temple Gopuram is a good example as given in the sketches. In North Kerala and Central Kerala, the Gopurams are in load-bearing type. The ground floor is provided with rooms on either sides with an entry and an Anavadil at the center forms part of the Maryada. 1 or 2 stories are added with the same style with windows opening to all the 4 directions. The roof is provided with gables at the top. Interim sloping sunshades are provided at every floor. The western Gopuram of Purnatharesha temple is a good example.
Thank you, Dr. Ashalatha, for an insightful session. I'm sure our audience had a lot to learn from it. We will now be taking a short break to play your sponsor's video, and we'll be back with our next speaker.
Regular cement takes 28 days to make an airstrip. This one just took 4. Yes, it is the technology of the future, brought to us today by Dalmia Cement. And I'm building my house with the same.
Dalmia Cement, future today.
I'm a forest ranger and I don't allow any interference in the jungles. But this wildlife corridor was needed, so we built it with the world's greenest cement, Dalmia. And now I'm building my own house with the same.
Dalmia Cement, future today.
An 8-foot slab of concrete that can take a load of 500 tons, moving at such speed. Yes, it's the technology of the future. Brought to us today by the pioneers of sleeper cement, Dalmia. And I'm building my house with the same.
Dalmia Cement, future today.
Asia Young Designer Awards by Nippon Paint is one of the longest running and largest student design awards in Asia. 14 years in the making, AYDA has worked closely with more than 1,200 educational institutions and have received more than 35,000 entries. AYDA has worked closely with professionals to help forge a closely knitted design community with the purpose of helping improve lives and communities. It is truly about cultivating the next generation of designers. If you're currently an architectural or interior design student, it's your time to shine. Help the world see designers who are able to envision the future of spatial design, which addresses the evolving needs of communities while factoring in critical environmental and significant cultural factors. Your design has to be emphatic and innovative while addressing problems faced by both mankind and our natural environment. It is your $1 million idea that will land you the title of the Asia Young Designer of the Year, which is worth up to $10,000, alongside a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to attend an all-expenses-paid 6-week design discovery program at Harvard University's Graduate School of Design. On top of that, you will gain access to a network of AYDA alumni across Asia to help strengthen your perspectives and connections around the world. So, here's what we are looking for. Design concept. A design that fulfills an innate human need or helps solve a problem. Functionality. A versatile design that supports people, activities, and changes in life. Design innovation. A design which maximizes or leverages tech-enabled connectivity and/or intelligence. Sustainability and relevance. A design which comprises of sustainable and eco-friendly elements which help preserve the natural environment, Aesthetic and visual impact. A design which is aesthetically pleasing and effectively integrates social and cultural aspects for the users. Color usage. A design which showcases a brilliant display of balance between colors, materials, and design outputs. Delivery and presence. We look forward to having you at the national and international finals, where you will be delivering your ideas in front of a panel of professional judges. Will you be the next Asia Young Designer of the Year? Good luck and see you there! Join the Asia Young Designer Awards via www.asiayoungdesignerawards.com or follow us on LinkedIn. Or simply speak to your lecturers or faculty members who are involved. We hope to have you join the AYDA community. Good luck!